Peace, family. So we back with another one. Today what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how this physical world realm, Western culture, is not a reflection of your spiritual ranking. This world we living in right now, if you're in any parts of the Western culture, it is not a reflection of your spiritual ranking. Meaning, you can be let's just use a king in the spiritual realm. Of course, if we speak of spiritual realm, it could be many and multiple kings, right? But in this physical realm, they are forcing you to peasantry level. So clearly with this being interpreted in this realm as in whatever moves more righteously, more godly, more towards source and creator is getting stomped and pushed under the rug, and everything that's flowing and operating with the system or moving demonically is getting pushed up to the top of the rankings. I know for a lot of us, we get to certain places and points in our life where we start to see that hard work does not pay off. If you're in any parts of this Western culture, hard work is not paying off. Hard work is just hard as fucking work. Literally is what it comes down to. Which is why we got a lot of people who have been moving with source or with their religions. We seeing more of a disperse, meaning that the things that people were doing, even though it wasn't, let's say that it was healthy things that they were doing, they're starting to have less ambition towards it. It's starting to be less motivational. You know, let's say you've been working on a car for 2 to 5 years, you know, because you wanted to get it running. You done put 2 to 5 years in on this car, and the car is still parked exactly where it's at. We are in modern day slavery, and it is at the most demonic, unhealthy form that we can possibly fathom. You know, a lot of people feel as though shackles and chains is worse, when in all actuality, shackles and chains only binds this physical body. It doesn't bind this, and it doesn't bind this. So that's why they also had to flip the formula, which is putting us in an entrapment and binding us in here and in here, opposed from these. Because you don't have these on your wrist and these on your ankles, you feel as though you're free to do as you please, what you want, which is false. We cannot do whatever we want, because if you wanted to travel somewhere, most people have to ask their boss or schedule time off to do these things. You can't just get up and move around and maneuver however you want to. And then the ones who do got free time to maneuver around, it costs to do anything out here. When you open your eyes, you gotta spend money. When you take a breath, you gotta spend money. You know, you leave your house, you spend the money. Hell, if you sitting in the house, you still damn near are probably going to spend some money. You know, being in the house is the closest you can get to not spending money. But then, even in that fashion, you still have to work to maintain the roof over your head, because it's not natural law where we've built our own houses and we don't have to work to pay for our living space. You know, we've already put in the time, effort, and energy into building this roof over our head, and now we can enjoy the luxuries over it. In today's society, that's not what's happening. This is why a lot of us have been feeling off balance, why we find ourselves fighting more obstacles than what's needed, why we are in spaces and places that, for one, are extremely uncomfortable, which I'm a cosign. Like, I love making that statement, you know, I'm my most comfortable when I'm uncomfortable, but that's, everything is on a percentage scale, and it's to a degree. You know, I don't want to spend 7 days out of the week being uncomfortable, but I don't mind putting myself in positions to be or feel uncomfortable so that way I can elevate or move forward. We have been grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding to the wheels are about to be off the car soon. And most of these plantational jobs are not paying our value. You know, a lot of people are trying to branch out into entrepreneurship, you know, just being your own boss under natural law. You know, it's become more difficult in there because a lot of things have become so transactional, and the system has done such a good job at making sure people who are moving with source cannot get a foot up because they already understand the light that we would be able to project 50 a million times harder if we was able to get ourselves in a better place and space and position in today's society. So we all kind of a little off balance in this whole process and everything that's going on right now. And I like to, when I use my processor within here, in here, it's kind of a reason why sometimes you see or we see ourselves higher than other people. We are all equal to a degree, But just like out here, how we got higher ups in the systematic structure, it's the same thing in the spiritual realm. The only thing that's happening differently is instead of the righteous and the creator, the chosen ones leading like how we're supposed to, we have the demonic team in charge and leading the pack. It's very difficult for you to be more intelligent than all of the people around you, but then you have the lowest amount of finances, you know, or you have minimal items that you need in order for you to survive or to live. You know, it becomes extremely frustrating when you see people who are extremely low vibrational, unintelligent, you know, they are beings who are, so I don't have to keep adding adjectives, they are just extremely demonic, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly. And we see these people prospering in today's society right now. That is a really tough pill to constantly have to swallow. Anytime you leave a house, anytime you turn on social medias, you know, you going in these phones, computers, or tablets, it's difficult to have to witness these things, especially when you know you one of them people who always live with your cup half full. You always been a fighter, a warrior, you know, you never back down, you don't never give up. You know, even when your back is against the wall, you still coming up with different avenues and things to help you get out of that space. You know, the creator is sending you all kind of downloads and information and resources for you to be able to pull yourself out of that space with the assistance. A lot of people in today's society will never fully want to comprehend that we all have to leave this realm. Nobody gets to stay. And even me saying that, it just sparks something else as far as like, we have a lot of people coming over to the States. I'm in the States. We got a lot of people coming over to the States, right? But us in the States already understand the spiritual imprisonment that they are trying to continue to cultivate. But the new people coming over are keeping the system running. I don't give a damn if they don't have ill intentions or not. They coming over here and they aren't helping us in this fight, in this battle that we in. we're over here fighting this battle, and let's just say you had a get together in the house, you know, and a bunch of people in the house is all like, it's probably gonna be less, right? Let's say it's 10 people in the house. You got 3 people in the house that's trying to clean up the vibes in the house. But then you got more people knocking at the door trying to come into the shindig. But you have an objective and a mission to clean up the house in this space right here. The people that's wanting to come in aren't coming into the house to assist in your mission. The people that's coming in the house are coming to assist the other party goers who are continuously trashing and keeping the party going. This is the downside of what a lot of us are having to experience, because you can kind of see to a degree that a lot more people have been moving over. A lot of the lost sheep have been moving, not all of them, said a lot, not all, have been moving over more towards finding their religions. You know, if they're not finding religions, they're getting more spiritually connected. And it's hard to clean up a house when you got people constantly coming in dirty in the house. Even if they don't have ill intentions, them just walking in the house is tracking outside stuff from the bottom of their feet through the house. See, a lot of us don't like to look at these pictures. Not saying that we shouldn't allow people, you know, into the states or in the house, because I believe that all people should be welcome on all parts of the land, as long as you are adhering to the healthier, more righteous side of that culture. So I wouldn't go over to, I don't know, let's say Nigeria, you know, and let's say Nigeria is all healthy and then a quarter of it is demonic. Probably the other way around, but this is just an example. I wouldn't want to go in that house or to their land and then be continuously perpetrating the unhealthy aspect of it, because it's still a huge percentage of people who's fighting the battle to clean up the mess that's in there. We are in a tough space right now because a lot of us over here are extremely intelligent, far beyond our peers. You know, we understand the spiritual realm on a much deeper level than the ones that we have around us or the ones that come and go throughout our lives. If you look at a healthy, righteous side of Diddy, right? Puff Daddy. He kind of lived like a demonic king here. But if you flip it, and he was a righteous king, right? And then he got locked up, and that's how he had to spend the rest of his life. Matter of fact, let's scratch him out, because we can use Nelson Mandela. Way more powerful, you know, he's been living his life as righteously as possible. He's been helping and healing as many people as he could in the position that he in. The system understands that anytime one of the chosen ones, or, you know, somebody in these vessels that's operating with Source and Creator gets into a power position, we start making things happen and bringing things together, meaning more unity, less division. You know, Nelson Mandela was even, not Mandela, Gaddafi was even coming up with his own currency, which they would have been able to use the transaction and to, you know, just take care of business without using the US dollar. They understand these things. So if they're in a position to keep their foot on our neck so that way we don't level up to these positions, y'all have to understand that that's what they're going to do. This is why some days we just wake up angry or frustrated, or you may be fine waking up and then when you leave the house you see yourself getting a little frustrated or angry. you know? And not saying that to say like we sit in these emotions, because a lot of us know how to just sail right through it, you know, right past it. But there are beings who do like to sit and marinate in it, you know, and it kind of beats them down to a certain degree, because all of us aren't at the same spaces and rankings in the spiritual realm. But it's like you having a child, you've been putting in more work in this physical realm for you to live, you know, to be able to see 15 years old, 20 years old, 25, 30, 45, and then you have a newborn come in here, they make it to 4 or 5 years, and they're prospering financially more than you are, and you done put way more footwork into this realm than they have, you know. Unfortunately, a lot of things in this physical realm, in this Western culture, is set up against us, and it's going to be unfair. And as of right now, hard work is not paying off. You know, what's paying off is your consistency to your team. What's paying off right now is your consistency to your team. If you're consistent with your connection with Source and getting closer and tighter and, you know, having more of a bond, you will be prosperous. But if you're using it the other way, demonically in this Western culture right now, you will level up so fast in this physical realm. So what happens is, it's like a weighing scale. Y'all know the weighing scales, the old school ones, not the new digital ones, the old school ones where it's a little beam in the middle, a little plate right here, plate right there, they both even until you put something on it. When you put that weight of the Creator right here on this part of the plate, it's gonna go down to the bottom, right? Because it's heavy, it's more weight. What happens on the opposite side? The demonic stuff goes up. That concept is really in reverse, but I wanted to use the weight scale to show you that when you leveling up in the spiritual realm, you're going down in society. When you leveling up in society, you're going down with your connection in your relationship that you should have with Source. This is why we gotta work 1,000,000 times harder. It's not 50 times harder, it's not 2 times harder. You know, we got people out here that don't follow the Creator and they're struggling a little bit, but the fight isn't as hard for them. You know, for us, let's say for them, their struggles is just regular basic, it's only like ×2. But for us, our times is going to be ×20, ×50. All because we aren't in cahoots at 110% with the system and what it has going on right now. This is always gonna be a thing until we can actually transition the head of the household. The head of the household right now is the demonic system and team that's in place. We need to get Source back up at the top. We need to circulate Source. And unfortunately for us, some of us may not even be alive to witness when it restructures itself around. You know, that's the downside of it. But the upside of it is we've been here through this whole transition, and we can prepare the next generation to do much better and to give them different tools and weapons to use in this spiritual battle that's going on right now, you know. And that's some things that I practice with my mini. Because I don't always tell her, but we have conversations. Daddy not always gonna be here, you know. It's always some kind of deity or entity working on me. And like I tell most people that be around my space, like, I would love to do some collaborations, but a lot of males, I don't want to say men, a lot of males around, it's really not about their life, you know. I was having a conversation with somebody a couple days ago, and they got a little frustrated with me, but I didn't really pay attention or notice until like towards the end of the conversation, and they was basically just like, well, you just keep talking about energy and all this stuff with energy, and I'm just like, bitch, I got crystals on. What the fuck did you expect? You know what their comeback was? That I could possibly be a witch. And I'm just like, do you understand the sorcery that goes on behind that? Like, I know people always say, you got good witches and bad witches. But we don't say you got good demons and bad demons, so why give them the same name? Why connect the same vibrations and frequency to it? That doesn't make sense to me. So for all the good witches, I just call them healers. I don't have to call them a witch. I just call them healers. I never understood, and it's mostly been females that use that terminology. Well, you know there's good witches too. I'm like, that's like me saying there's good demons out here. That shit sounds weird. Give it another name. Healer is something simple. That's what they do. You know, women are naturally nurturers anyways when they aren't following this demonic structure. You know, from teaching the next generation to, you know, nurturing life, the household, replenishing, you know, the divine femme is extremely powerful to the point to where even the strongest males, and it's been shown through history, have fallen due to the seduction of the feminine energy. We at a new day and age right now, you know what I mean? So don't beat yourself down too much if you feel as though, and you know that you're better than a lot of the people around you. They just may have a few more items. They may have one more car than you, or a few more cars. They may have one more house or roof over their head than you, or a few. You know what I mean? They may always have the newest clothes and items and material stuff more than you. But the thing is, they don't take any of that stuff with them when they leave here. All of that stuff stays here. That's the beauty of it. You know, it's kind of like when you let somebody get away with something because you know that it's gonna come back to them. And anytime it comes back, it always comes back worse than what it was given to you. That's why I always say, I've always been a person that, you know, depending on the circumstances and situations and the severity, I'm a warrior, so it's always gonna be an eye for an eye. Don't touch anything over here with my family or my tribe or my community that I vibe with. It's really that simple, you know? And it's not a thing of arrogance or being conceited, you know? I know that I'm more intelligent than my daughter. My daughter is fucking intelligent, you know? But I've been here longer. I've been doing this longer. I've put more work in. That doesn't have anything to do with, oh, you're so conceited or you're egotistical. You need to put your ego down. Like, that's another one of the tactics they like to resort to try to humble somebody who's already humble. How can you humble somebody who's already humble? We already understood a long time ago we was better than you. It's really that simple. You don't have to beat yourself up over it because you know your ranking in the spiritual realm and the other beings around you are nowhere near that level. But the space that you go to when you leave here is gonna be way more fruitful, it's gonna be way more prosperous than what these beings are gonna have to experience after their walk in this life here. You need a king to make a queen. Kings can make a queen, but queens cannot make a king. Queens can birth a king, but they don't turn other men into kings. Men can transform any woman into a queen. Once you're beside him and whatever vows is taken, don't have to be no court paperwork. I don't believe in this systematic shit. You know, that is what transform you into the queen, unless it's by birthright. You know, I like to say peace and love to the kings and queens at the end, but you know, that's just keeping everything on the up and up and keeping things light, you know what I mean? And I just like to end it in a more uplifting and positive frequency. Because I know when I communicate sometimes it can get a little distorted, get a little rocky, you know, but for the most part, I'm always trying to connect the dots, and I make sure that it's a vent. It's a full circulation vent, you know. I'm not, and we don't just dump, you know, we vent it all the way around. So if there's a dump, then that dump gets filtered out, and then the good air gets pushed back through. It's how we get the central AC units, you know, that's how you got the airflow in your car. All of these things, it's no different. You can use a lot of real life as an example. But don't start being less of yourself because it's a bunch of retarded people in charge. It's a bunch of retarded people with the big bag. Let me take that back, because some people be having an issue with retarded. When I mean retarded, I mean people who are fully capable of functioning. They're fully capable, meaning that they're regular, they don't have any extra or less chromosomes. You know what I mean? If you are fully functioning and you operate like just on the lowest vibration or frequency possible, that's the shit I call stupid or retarded. I'm not talking about the people who are born with birth defects and the system said they're, you know, challenged or all these other things. I don't give a fuck about that. Like, it's only but so much control you have at birth. You know, that's more so based on the genetics and how well mommy is taking care of herself while you're in the womb cooking. You know what I mean? But it's a lot of slow people getting a big bag right now. It's a lot of slow people who do not know how to think for themselves getting a big bag right now. You know, it's a lot of slow people out here that's just getting to run around with no accountability placed on them whatsoever. You know, and they also got the system riding behind them. So if you tried to hold them accountable, they're gonna have a counter for you trying to hold them accountable. But don't beat yourself down too much. You know what I mean? It's not conceited, it's not egotistical if you put more time and work in a sport or a craft than somebody and you said you better than them. It's just that simple. If a painter walked in right now or an electrician walked in, he said, yo, I'm better than you at electric work. I'm like, you are. You put more time and work, and that's just logical. You know what I mean? I wouldn't take offense to that. Now, if it was somebody telling me something else that I spent a lot of time in doing myself, then I may give a little bit of pushback from there. But then even from that situation, we gotta put it to the test. If you say you're better than me in basketball, I know I've been playing basketball my whole life, I'm gonna have to see you on the court and you guys show me you can ball. It's that simple, you know. If you saying that you more knowledgeable than me or you know how to communicate better than me, then we need to have an intellectual conversation, and we need to be able to back our conversations up with natural law and creator and source. Not some statistical facts that you got from the system and we don't know what dummies they use to run some of these statistics that they running. Some of them, they did good numbers with the statistics. Some of them. Most of them are bullshit. Some of them, they did okay. We can look all over the world and see that we a little fucked up over here. We gotta keep fighting the good fight. Don't stop fighting the good fight. And if you gotta stand up because the other people are like in your face while you're sitting down, stand up. That's what that means. Stand up. You have your legs to work. You have that spiritual strength. Stand up. Stand up. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I mean? Tap into everything down below. I do got the Discord set up. I want to start getting everybody communicating and engaging over there soon as well too. I do got the link in the description. When I say down below, y'all already know that's in the description, or y'all can tap down into the comments, you know what I mean? But we are still building, we are still growing, you know, but we are still fighting these battles, and we do need to balance our energy. I cannot drive across country from Virginia to California if I don't have gas tanks and jugs or gas stations on the way, because I'll run out of gas. I have to stretch that gas out for as far as I can go before I gotta refill it up from the gas tanks that I have with me, or whether I gotta stop at the gas station to refill. The faster you drive, the more gas you burn. So if you are using a lot of energy, then that means you gotta figure out how to stretch your energy out. But that'll be a topic for another subject, you know what I mean? Tap in everything down below in the description, you know what I mean? Peace and love to the kings and queens.